Episode 6 of Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider starts with Spider-Man descending onto our heroes, but Yukarisu jumps onto his giant clawed arm and tells Mitsuba to run. But he swings her into all four of them and thinks that the female combatant has betrayed them. Yukarisu is like, Mitsuba, get out of here. And she walks up to the spider monster and is like, I'll take you on. And he thinks that he never thought that this was possible. But then everyone is like, no, fight me. And then Tackle is like, no, I'm going to be your opponent. And then Mitsuba is like, no, I'm going to fight you. Then Bui 3 is like, no, it's my turn. But then Tojima just strolls to the front of the line and says, in Kamen Rider Episode 13, Kamen Rider was almost taken down by Tokageron. But after training, he faced down an entire army of monsters without hesitation, and he rushed in and fought them by himself. And it was at that moment that he wanted to be like Kamen Rider. And then he yells that Kamen Rider does not retreat. So I did look it up. Tokageron was a monster in Kamen Rider. Apparently, he was a soccer player, and he got converted into a cyborg monster, and he was pretty stuck up or something, and then he fought Kamen Rider. So this was a reference in the anime to anyone that's actually seen Kamen Rider, because I didn't know who that was. I actually had to look it up. But Tojima powers up and gets into his Rider Punch stance, and for a second, he looks like Kamen Rider. And then he punches Spider-Man, and he knocks him on his ass, and everyone is like, holy shit, including Spider-Man. But a bunch of bystanders roll up and are like, hey, what's going on here? Are they filming a movie? Is this a 20-person art museum? But Spider-Man thinks he can't expose Shocker because of these Rider fools. So he leaps into the air and mouth darts all the downed Shocker combatants into goo and flees into the night.
I'm so mad at you, guys. I'm so mad at you.
No one knows what that means.
Well, if you catch the stream, you would have known what that meant. You're welcome. Please check us out on twitch.tv/DJ Montague for all our home listeners. Wild.
Tojima starts crying and is like, that was fucking awesome. It cuts to Futaba's pub, and the lady is like, welcome in. Wait, what the fuck are you doing here? And Ichio says, a party of 5, please. And she calls him Big Brother. Tojima is like, Big Brother? And Mitsuba is like, yeah, that's my older sister, Futaba. And she's the pub owner. And ... But then Futaba is like, what the fuck are you coming here for? And Ichio's like, damn. Well, you know what? I chose this place out of all the other pubs because I haven't seen you in ages. They argue, and Mitsuba says they don't get along, and she has zero interest in Kamen Rider. But Futaba yells that she already banned Ichio's ass before, but Mitsuba is like, hey, you know what? I'll watch him. We got friends here too. And it cuts to everyone else in their Kamen Rider get-ups looking all sheepish. She tells Mitsuba she'll give them a private room in the back, and if there is any trouble, he knows what's going to happen. They go into the room, and they drink, and Ichio was like, that was a damn good Rider punch. And Tojima is like, yeah, you know what? If I have to toot my own horn, I'd say that's the best Rider punch I've ever thrown in my life. Yuriko is like, wait a minute, why are you guys just tossing back drinks? And Ichio is like, is there a problem? And she says there isn't a Kamen Rider she can think of that drinks. Ichio is like, well, forget about that shit. Shall we get on with the wedding ceremony? And they're like, wait, what? Right now? In this pub? And Ichio is like, you got it. And then he starts officiating Mitsuba and Yukarisu's wedding.
The show, it's so good. It's not like everybody in the room is just as flabbergasted as we are, but also they're like, I mean, it is the order of operations.
Futaba barges in and is like, shut the fuck up, order some food already. And Ichio is like, I'm officiating Mitsuba's wedding. You should be here too. And she's like, what the fuck? So it cuts to them all sitting down now with Futaba, and Ichio is like, Mitsuba, a few words if you please. He clears his throat and he stands and starts and says his brother pushed this along faster than he would have liked, but he's sure he'll be happy about it by tomorrow. But there's one thing that needs to be addressed. Yukarisu's like, me being part of Shocker? And he's like, no, I expressed my feelings and proposed, but she never actually accepted my proposal. So I'll ask again. And he gets down on one knee and asks if she'll marry him. And she says yes. And Futaba is just sitting there flabbergasted while everyone else is clapping and congratulating.
Yeah, she's like, are we all watching the same show? Are you guys all cool with this? Is this normal? Yep.
Yep.
Great work, everybody.
She's like, wait, what? They're married?
Cool.
Just like that? And Ichio's like, yup. And she's like, what the hell is wrong with you guys? Yuriko then introduces herself as Tackle, and she's a high school teacher. And Tojima introduces himself as Kamen Rider. And Yukarisu is like, I'm a Shocker combatant, but I'm not sure how I ended up that way. And her duty was to keep an eye on people who were aware of Shocker's existence. And it cuts to her and Mitsuba in the restaurant, and she's like, hey, manager, want to go out with me? And he's like, sure, but you'll probably get fed up with me pretty quick. And she's like, well, why do you say that? And it cuts to him giving her the complete history of Kamen Rider V3 and Rider Man. And she started to love how Mitsuba talked about Kamen Rider, so much so that maybe that's what reversed the brainwashing.
But I will say, one of the most important things in a relationship is communication, guys. Also, when you're watching your partner talk about something that is incredibly important to them, and the way their face lights up when they're playing with their stupid fucking Warhammer figurines is kind of the coolest thing in the world. Make sure that you embrace and love your partners for all of their weird, quirky enjoyments. Don't make fun of people for the things they enjoy.
Don't take it away from them.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what's the point of you trying to take over that thing that brings them joy, or to replace that thing that brings them joy?
That's not what we're here for.
But she says that means Shocker could kill me at any moment. Mitsuba is like, no, I will protect you. And Futaba is like, what am I fucking watching right now? This is crazy. I don't want any part of it.
Agreed, lady. Agreed.
Futaba gets up to leave, but Ichio is like, wait, as my stupid ass young sister, why not a few words of congratulations? And she's like, stupid ass young sister? You can say I'm younger without insulting me. And then she flying knees him in the face. Ichio's like, damn, I guess it can't be helped. I'll have to transform. And Yuriko is like, no, you can't transform here. And then Futaba kicks him in the face while he's transforming, but he just continues to transform anyway.
Greg's not putting up air quotes yet, but transform is transform. He's literally just saying the words like normal, and then she's just beating him the fuck up.
Yeah. She's like, want a word from me? Well, I got a fucking word for you. And he's like, why are you talking about me? And she's like, I got way more than one word. Is this the day I fucking go off on you? And he's like, what are you talking about? She says, it's been a decade since second grade, and I'm still getting the cold shoulder from people because of your stupid Kamen Rider shit. And it flashes back to them in grade school, and Ichio just scaring all of Futaba's friends off. And he's like, no, I was just fighting Shocker. She's like, that's what I'm fucking talking about, you fucking idiot. And she's like, despite you being the freak, I'm the one who is treated like one. And she axe kicks him in the head, and she hasn't had anyone she could call a friend because of him. And then you bring your friends into my business, and then she starts choking him out. Mitsuba's like, wait, let's all calm down. And Futaba's like, Mitsuba, I'm happy for you. I really am. But because of this dude, my life... ... And then Ichio V3 breaks out of her grip, and he says, no matter what she says, they are all still fighting Shocker. Futaba is like, I'm done with this. But why don't you order some fucking snacks? And then she punches him in the face.
Nice. It's a beautiful, like, the animation in this show for all this shit is so good. It's so good.
Yeah, everyone gets punched in the face.
Everyone just gets punched in the face, and there's just blood splatters and fucking teeth, and it's just everyone getting riggedy rolled.
And then in the next scene, all their teeth is
fine.
And
then, he's totally fine. No blood on his face at all. But he's drunk as shit.
So they sit and eat snacks and drink, and he is flush with alcohol, taking count of all the Kamen Riders and a random female combatant. And he's like, we should follow up the wedding with a Shocker fighting planning session. But it cuts to a ryokan with two rival Yakuza gangs doing a drug deal. And the two bosses are like, man, Feels like ages since I've handled business so authentic. And they're like, since we're both feeling good, why not follow it up with some authentic entertainment? They say that gangsters don't fight each other like they used to. How about one of your guys against one of mine? And they're like, hell yeah. But they put up a stack as the reward for the winner. And the one Yakuza boss is like, go get Nako.
How much is a million
Props
yen?
to the
by
gangster
way?
dude.
How much is a million yen?
With the current conversion rate of like 157 yen to the dollar.
Wait, a million yen is $6,316. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I thought the conversion 100 yen was like to a dollar.
Like maybe 15 years ago. Everything's 50% off in Japan if you have USD.
Okay.
But it cuts to Gangster Dude, the one that does all the shocker robberies, the one that we remember, and his 3 lackeys hanging out. And then he gets his summon. And he's like, damn, I didn't think the boss would actually go through with this. And then thinks that when he had that monster mask on, that was the best.
Does he just live in the fucking
And then he
dream,
walks
dude?
off. He's like, boys, after I'm done, let's go get some yakiniku. Nako walks in, and the other Yakuza boss is like, oh shit, a veteran. How old are you? And he says he's 44. And the rules are the first one to take him down gets a milli. And if he takes down all 3, he gets the milli. The first dude talks a bunch, and then he just gets punched in the face. The second dude, he's an ex-boxer. But Nako does the old toss the sunglasses headbutt trick, and he is out also. And then the last guy is an ex-sumo wrestler, and he gets in his sumo squat stance, and Nako just kicks him in the balls, and it shows very detailed how his balls got kicked.
I mean, okay, our listeners at home, for Spotify, for YouTube, I mean, if this doesn't end up being the thumbnail, I mean, what are we doing? It's pretty much quite possible. And it's in slow-mo that you see them, like, hit and protrude more, and you're just like, oh, man, that's someone's...
That's a guy that does not wear underwear. He was going commando for this fight, and he paid for it.
Yeah. And the person that had to draw this was like, they were sitting in the storyboard room and they're like, okay, all right, guys. So we're going to split up to our respective areas. But Devin, you're on the last scene of this episode. I want you to really engage with the character. I know that you had seen some sumo wrestling in your history. What was the most important thing about your sumo experience? That you wanted to kick him in the balls. Right. So I want you to channel that and put it on the screen. I want you to feel every movement of those nuts. And he's like, you fucking got it, boss.
I like that before this, like literally 10 seconds before this, when he got into his sumo pose and you basically saw Nako from behind the sumo dude, he already just had this giant bulge sticking out the back.
He was you prepare the viewer really quickly. You're like, why did they bulge that? Oh, shit. Right there. It was great. It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was really, really well done.
Nako is announced the winner, but the other boss is like, wait, let's see if he can beat this next guy. And if you win, you get 5 milli. And I'd say he's invincible. And it shows a shot of Monster Man. And then he walks in and introduces himself as Kumota. And that's how the episode
It was
ends.
pretty good. I really enjoyed this episode. I had a lot of fun. What a great experience.
I have no negatives to say about Kamen
This show
Rider.
fucking slaps so hard.